welcome everybody to our Girls in Tech Ambassador Series. This year we're having some phenomenal ambassadors speak with you, and we're kicking off March with Baratang Miya as our ambassador for this month. And you'll have seen a few things that we've dropped on social media already this month. Really poignant that you're joining us this month for International Women's Day month. Thanks for being our ambassador.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand over to you, Sungi, just to do a little bit of a sort of context setting for how the three of us know each other. And then I look forward to us just having a conversation around your life and your vision that you have with GirlHype.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Monique. Hi, I'm Sungi. I am a Girls in Tech member, and I have the fortunate life of being able to know both Monique and Bara through our working lives. I think at some point in time, we were all working together in a co-working space in Cape Town. And really that allowed us to not only focus on what we were working on and what we were employed to do every day, but gave us the liberty to start reaching out into the different spheres of what people are doing in the tech sector. Baratang, I remember the first time you and I met, I was working on a Saturday, because when you're in tech, you tend to work on Saturdays, it seems. And so I walked into the office and you were in a boardroom with about 20 girls at the time who had come from Kailito, which is one of our low resource income communities. And you were just showing them a different opportunity in life. You were telling them about what it means to be in tech, and you roped me in. I remember you called me and you said, "This is Sungi. She works for Woolworths, and she's going to tell you all about studying computer science." And I thought, wow, way to put a girl on the spot. Just immediately. But that is Baratang, right? And I think that is just the beauty of a co-working space, is really having the network. I think being a woman and is the ability to pull on one another and to ensure that your stories are always going to be real. They're going to be immediate. I mean, an immediate response is required from you. It's only the truth of who you are and the journey you've walked is what's going to come out. So really, I think it's such an honor and a pleasure for me, at least, Baratang, to have you here, but also to have walked life with you. And I think the question I have for you, just to kick us off, is maybe you started off GirlHype, and your passion has always been seeing more women in STEM, but especially more women in the IT technology space. How have you found shaping the girls' mindset and opening their eyes, really, for people who don't even have computers at home, to that this is such a possibility for them? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the amazing intro, Sinki. Can you guys hear me?
Perfectly.
Am I audible? Okay. Thank you very much for the amazing intro. And I think I didn't do that to you alone. I did it to Monique also. Our grade 11, we were doing job shadowing, and one of our students arrived, and the person who was supposed to job shadow got sick. And I was standing in front of Monique and I said, "Can you please job shadow for us?" This girl needs, and this is a grade 11, just to put things into perspective. She was 16, a 16-year-old that has to be mentored at executive level, because that's one of the things we do. And when this executive woman said, "Bara, I'm sick," I said, "No, it's fine, let's go to work." At work, there's all of them running around. and I got Monique and I pinned her down. I said, "Please mentor this child for the next coming 3 days." And opening that door at executive level for girls at age 16, the question you asked was mindset shift. I personally think it's that shift in the mind from "I can't do it" to "I can." And being able to realize that talking code is not just talking "I can code," because what we do at GirlHype is teaching girls how to code and teaching them what opportunities are there in STEM, and bring mentors and expose them to the people that are really working in the industry. And for us, you cannot be what you can't see. You can't be an executive woman if you don't know what is it that they're doing and how they got there. So sharing those stories with these young girls before they get influenced and shaped by forces beyond them, as we know the society does that, and the choices that they would make are not aligned with I want to be in tech, because they don't know what's happening there. So it's really important for us to start showing girls that it's possible, it's doable,
That
and they can do it.
that is so true. I think it's the power of a reference to dream, is what I said previously in my interview. Is we've got to start giving people a reference model to be able to dream outside what they know. Yeah.
And
To
going
say,
back to what
oh, sorry.
I just want, well, I wanted to finish going back to what Sungi said. You know, when you arrived, I didn't study. Most people don't know this. I always tell them I did not study computer science. I studied industrial psychology, and I went and studied marketing. Though I influenced women to go into STEM, all I did was a 6 months Java course in the process of having GirlHype, teaching people how to get into computers and learning how to code. So I'm like a self-taught coder before I got to getting a certification. So what I always tell people is the path that will lead you there is very important. And the network around you is the key to get there, because there's so many things we can do in tech that most people don't know about, especially women, and that's why they don't choose that path. So when we talk to young girls about computing, it's easy for me to say, oh, you can take any course and go into tech. But it's very important that we channel them to study what's going to take them to where a person like Sungi would be. Because even no matter how hard I teach computing, I'll never become her. She studied computer science, and her career path is so bright, sorry, Sungi, it's so bright, and it's gonna put her where she wants, because that's what the world need at the moment. We need more of her. So whatever we can do, and there's so much we can do, we try to encourage girls to say, take that particular one where we know there's a lot of shortage of women.
I
And
want
that's
to touch
where
on something you're saying there, Baratang. Sorry to cut you off, as you've just, directed to Sungi, your future is so bright. And, I've had the chance to work with you, Sungi, and I know that statement's true. But for me, something I'm really passionate about, and why I'm really enjoying working with girls in tech, and I think you're equally passionate about this, Baratang, is financial wellness for women. And I've traveled a very similar path to you, in that I didn't go to university, I didn't follow a traditional path. By complete fortune of events and the skies aligning, and somehow I ended up in this world of tech that I love. And there are so many various roles in this industry, but all of them, without fail, have incredibly good earning potential. Whether you're on the business side, business analyst, whether you're on the testing side, whether you're a coder, there is such scope for earning well. And I come from different industries. I've worked in tourism and hospitality, where the glass ceiling for earning is very low, in my opinion. And I've seen how much higher it is in tech. Is it something that you talk to your girls about when they come into GirlHype? Is it something that they start thinking about in terms of their earning potential? How do we as women in tech spread that message to young girls to say it is okay to aim for a job that pays well?
It's something that goes even beyond just us, especially for women, us thinking about our financial freedom and financial independence. I always bring, for me, before that, it used to be just prepare yourself, prepare your finance, know how to bank, create a saving account. And I got to a point where in my life I was old, 45 years old, and I realized I knew nothing about finances. I didn't know how my finances were managed, and how I left my independence and my financial freedom in the hands of my partner, and my life was just rolling. When I look back in the past 6 years, how I've changed that is quite interesting, because now I know what I'm planning for, where I want to be, and what I want to achieve. Now, if you're young, the step that I missed is career mapping. I was very fortunate to land in tech, and I landed in a space that there's lots of opportunities for me to earn the kind of a salary that will allow me, and the independence of being an entrepreneur, to be in a space that will allow me to grow. But if you do career mapping in terms of the careers that I've worked in other industries like retail, the moment I left tech, my salary dropped 5 times. And if you look at what tech is offering and the opportunities that it's offering, it's such a drastic space that you cannot do your job without being happy. I'm not sure. There's this gap. There's a myth that money doesn't make you happy. No, you need financial stability and financial freedom to be happy. and should life choose to throw things at you, you are able
Yeah.
to stand up and be like, you know what, I can buy my own house, I can buy my own car. It's not what we live for, but those are basic things that you
Mm.
need for you to survive in this world. And so at GirlHype, we work with girls who really come from poverty, and it's like serious. Some of them live in a shack, 8 people. During COVID, now one of the students was telling me that because they get a stipend, they're first year university student, and they were getting a stipend of 3,500 per month. When I asked her, what did you do with your stipend? She said, I saved 30,000. And I was shocked. I was like, what? You saved all the money you were getting? And she said, no, I had to build myself a room at the back of the yard because there's 2 people in a room. She's university student. She had no space to study. Internet couldn't even be locked. So she had to find a spot at the back of the yard and realized, okay, so when I'm sitting here, the Wi-Fi is good. So she built a room there worth the 30,000. So you can see the dynamics of people that goes into our life. And I say to her, you know, you've learned one skill, financial skill that nobody has at your age. You've learned how to plan for your life and what will get you out of the situation that you're in now. And going forward, I don't think anything will stand in her life. And that's, for me, that's what's important. And young girls needs to know, you plan, you envision it, you see it, you visualize it, especially the ones that comes from poverty. You're the only person at this point in time, unfortunately, who will get yourself out of it through a job that is worth it. Entry level job equalizes you. The first point entry. I mean, the lowest paying job, if you've done computer science, is 20,000. If you know how to get into tech, you're not gonna earn less than 12,000 entry level.
And
So
it's, I think, amazing that you're comfortable talking about the numbers, because I think it's something as women that actually often we kind of sweep under the carpet. So I think for anyone listening to this who's either trying to think what area you want to go into as a career, we're certainly not saying that go into tech just because you're going to become a multimillionaire. Definitely not. But I think it's wonderful to know that it's a well remunerated industry. And yeah, absolutely. I would just encourage any young girl or young woman, early stage university, trying to decide how to pivot your course that you're studying, to just also don't be scared to ask the question around remuneration if you get into an interview status.
And the other thing that I've realized that's new in the past 5 years is we've started talking about money in a digital fashion. So money is not money the way we know it anymore. And the financial industry, the way how we handle our cash and invest, it's very different. So we've got a new game that we play every now and then. We'll meet once in 2 weeks, and we teach them how to play IQ of it's like they play Forbes, they invest, because those things are things that women don't just go out there and do. And or girls, let me say girls. It's very few girls who will spend the night playing games of finance.
Mm.
But and it might not be our fault. It might be just the system, the way it's designed, that we will end up deviating to do other things. But when I started working a lot with University of Cape Town students, in fact, I realized the boys come and they trade. They spend a lot of time trading, working on blockchain, working on Bitcoin, and understanding this context. And I realized, there's women who are doing it, but there's few.
I
And
just
we need
I just had
to
an
get.
epiphany from what you said there, Barat. Is I read once that investment is a game of chance and you've got to be brave, you've got to be willing to fail. And actually, in my journey of working in tech, and particularly sort of how agile teams work, there's a similarity there, in that the way we work is that we fail fast. So you try, you fail, and you learn through that failure, and then you try again and you learn each time. So that's a powerful message around financial wellness as well. As you
Sungi knows a lot. Ask her. It's her skill.
tell us.
She's got an upper shoulder there of digital finance. Yeah, maybe you could add something, Singi.
You're on mute still there.
I was trying to unmute the entire time, but I think what you're saying, Bara, is so critical. I think as people, one, we need our four walls, right? And so we need emotional safety, we need financial stability, we need just food, and we need a roof over our head, and we just need to feel safe. And I think that when it comes to financial stability, the it's such a gift to be able to look at finances and think it's something I can play with.
Right.
Because for a lot of people, it's a means to an end, right?
Yeah.
It's something that they need so they can do the next thing, or it's such an urgent item that it's so transactional. And so I think that is what tech affords you. It affords you the ability to change your mindset in a, if this goes wrong, can it be fixed? Yes, most of the time, I hope. Don't drop database tables. But that's what you're talking about, right? Is gamifying this whole digital experience. What it teaches you is you can make a mistake. And how do you walk back from making a mistake? And that's the kind of resilience I think women need to learn, in that there is the resilience of having lost it all. And I think between the two of you, I can have many stories shared about what does it mean to have lost it all and then build back up. And still the power of choice. To land in tech was a power of choice. And I think that I guess that's what I'm trying to say is it's incredible that everyone should just do it. Try and fail with small monies first, hopefully. Yeah, what a luxury.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked Sungi for her opinion there, Bara. It leads me to a theme that I think is nice for us to wrap up with today. And actually, I'd like to extend it to both of you, even though, Bara, you're our ambassador for March. But, Sungi told the story earlier of meeting you and how vivid a memory that was when we had that collaborative workspace in Cape Town. And my memory of meeting you, I think anyone who meets you has a very vivid memory, but my first memory is, and I've seen you very glamorous. Let me just put this out there before I tell this story. I've seen you at international conferences speaking, and I've seen you command audiences with very large corporate executive board members. But my first memory of meeting you is in a tracksuit. Your hair wasn't done. You had no makeup on. And I remember just thinking, this is an interesting lady. She's just sitting there with her headphones on. I wonder what she does. And when you finally came over to speak to me, I don't know how we ended up chatting, the depth of the work that you do with GirlHype and the impact that you have. And happy birthday, because I believe it's your 20th year.
20th, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Next year.
What shook me was how authentic you presented yourself. You arrived in our place of work completely yourself, completely comfortable with that. It's an experience I've had myself now that I work in the tech sector, is that there is a really big tolerance for just being who you are.
Yeah.
So I think just for us to close off, I'd love to hear your thoughts around why you think it is important for women to have that space to just bring who they are, and potentially why you think, a career in tech is a place where that's tolerated and accepted and even really encouraged.
Yeah, that's who I am. I think authenticity is one of the biggest things that the tech world allows than any other career. And it's purely because if you can't do your work, it's hard work. I used to say to the girls, if you can't code, you can't solve problems. So I'm not judging you based on how you look. I want to see that code. I want to see that algorithm coming through. I want to see your deliverables. And no matter how much attitude people might have against you, they won't dismiss you if the quality of the work you are producing is the best. And they won't be against you if you are a team player. You know how to communicate. Glamour is the least of our problems. We're more into the tangibles, and because the pace of technology is so fast, And that they say Mark Zuckerberg wear one T-shirt every day, and it's not that T-shirt. I think he's got 100 of the same T-shirts every day, because at the pace that we have to fail and produce, especially I used to work with Java, creating those applets. I don't have time to be worrying about my makeup. It's the most important thing. If I'm going to present at a conference, I'll think about it. But what I realized was the people that I was working with, the girls, could relate easily with me if I show them who I am when I'm at work, who I am when I'm with other people. I wasn't just presenting this successful Baratang. It was, you know what, sometimes Baratang has a bad day. And sometimes Baratang has to prepare for a conference, and it takes 20, 30 hours to get the code right. Sometimes I'm just sitting there coding and coding and coding, and it's 48 hours later and I still don't get it right. And I don't have time to worry about that, because hard work is very important in the tech space. Hard work will take you so far. And it's not just hard work that takes you far, it's the people, the team that you work with that will take you that far. And I don't remember anybody judging me for how I looked, not even once.
No,
Not even once.
If
Yeah.
anything, it just endeared me to you and your humility. And I mean, clearly you can tell from the tone of this conversation, if anyone's listening, there's a very real friendship that's forged between the three of us. And I think it's born out of the fact that all three of us have seen each other in our authentic worst selves, our best selves. And you mentioned team there, and I think a team is only as successful as how diverse it is. And a team can't be diverse unless we're all encouraged to just come to work as ourselves. And, you know, Sangi, we've worked together many years, up until recently, where we've now sort of left working in the same organization. But, you know, I've certainly seen you at your best and at your worst. And I think if you hadn't been willing to share that vulnerability of who you are at any point in time, our relationship probably wouldn't be real. Did you find it was something that came quite naturally to you to just be yourself at work? Or did you have a bit of imposter syndrome in the early days of your career? And if you did, how did you get over it? Don't forget to go off mute.
Is that directed at me?
Yes.
Yeah. 100%. Imposter syndrome is always the beginning. There's this quote that I really love, and it says, authenticity is rarely found in the grand gestures or the fireworks or the lightning strikes. It's found in the deep-rooted, gentle moments of stirring of vulnerability, right? And I think the first time, you know, you walk into a space that is male-dominated, or when you're not the most intelligent person in the room, is this wanting to have the grand gestures come up. And in those grand gestures, you lose that gentle, deep-rootedness that's brought you this far. And so when you say, was there imposter syndrome? 1,000%, I think, no doubt about it. Sometimes creeps in now and again, and I just have to remind myself that who I am is what's needed here, right? It's not anything beyond what I bring to the table. And so I think there's such a key thing for each and every one of you, even if you're listening and wherever you are, is how do you create the space in a room for someone to always be themselves? I read a lot, so I have quite a few quotes. So, but at my desk, I looked here quickly, and there's a thing that says, when people enter your space, remember that there are now two experts in the room, and your most important job is to liberate the expert that's in them. And for someone's expertise to be liberated, they have to be in a space that they feel safe enough to be authentic, right? And so constantly, though, I constantly battle with that. So I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I think it's one of those things to always just remind yourself that who you are is fine. You're having a bad day at home. Yes, we can compartmentalize, but that's part of it. That's part of who you are. You're not a fragmented human being who suddenly can switch it up and then be excellent at work and just have no feelings at all, I think. And I think that's what I think from you too I've learned as well is 100%, Monique, you've walked into rooms where I know you're not doing well, but I know you also remember that you're at work and the ball at work is to, you know, produce a product and you play the ball. But the person behind that isn't lost on me. And that's the kind of room, that's the kind of spaces that if we create as women, and I think the feminine energy allows you to really do that. Is people say, no, 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 I want to be like a man, I want to be forthright, I want to be this. And it's not to say that's all terrible. It's to say that as a female, you bring in a lot more emotional sensitivity, you bring in a lot more holistic viewership of a person than what just they do. So yes to the imposter syndrome, but more yes to the
To you.
authenticity.
Yes, to you.
To you, yeah.
Well, it's always amazing to speak with both of you. But from Girls in Tech, I just want to say thanks for being our ambassador this month. We know there are so many girls that have already been inspired by you through GirlHype. I hope through our sort of joint social media networks, we'll now inspire even more girls to consider tech as a career. And just thank you. Just so much love for you both. And it's been great just being able to spend time together chatting again.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you
may
very
both
much, Monique.
GirlHype and Girls in Tech go to great heights. You both are doing such lovely
Yes.
jobs along those spaces. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ladies.